Oh, hi, everyone. This is Jonathan Ye. Welcome to the GHAPP MASH Community Network Series podcast. I am a PA who works at the Center for Liver Disease and Transplantation at Columbia University Medical Center in the city of New York. I've been doing this for the past 14 years, treating liver disease and helping a pre-transplant patient, and I'm loving every minute of it. So today, the topic is the role of exercise in liver health. So I think the first topic or first point in our presentation or in our podcast today is what types and amounts of physical activity, let's say aerobic versus resistant training, duration, intensity, have shown benefits in improving hepatic steatosis and potentially inflammation, fibrosis in MASH. Okay, so I have to say that I've given a presentation on this exact topic. So I read a lot of paper. And so I think for this point, the most important thing to note for all of us is that while I and my attending were recommending high intensity interval training up until about 60 years ago, we started to find that study have found high intensive interval training, HIIT, is not as effective as aerobic plus resistant training in promoting weight loss and liver health and general health in general. Okay. So for a patient who spends 7 minutes or 10 minutes doing HIIT a day, it does not equal to a daily aerobic training for an hour or 2 hours, just based on what kind of exercise our patients are doing. Okay. So now let's go back into this. So we know that now aerobic versus resistance with high intensity, we know that we always want to recommend aerobic plus resistance training. We know that an hour of brisk walk, let's say and a 2-mile jogging, and simply walk around a park for an hour to 2 hours, 3 times a week can help promote general health. But just specifically an hour of brisk walk and even half an hour on an elliptical machine in a gym can help us and help our patients promote their general health and liver health. Then what about the resistance, using the resistance training? Lifting weight and using resistance bands if the patients don't have access to a gym, can promote their health in general by turning fat into muscle, which consumes energy much more effectively. And that will reach the goal of taking fat out of the liver and improving metabolic associated steatotic liver disease and or MASH. So it's MASLD and MASH improvement just by doing weights and resistance bands. Okay, now next point on today's podcast is how can APPs, advanced practice providers, provide practical, individualized exercise prescriptions for patients with MASH and MASLD, considering potential physical limitations, comorbidities, and preferences. Okay, so I actually touched upon a little bit on a patient who don't have access to a gym or who may have difficulty getting out of the house to a gym and to do other exercises. They can use a resistance band in the house for an hour at a time. They can do it as many times as they want, as they can tolerate. And what about the patient without the physical limitations? Then we're going back to whatever the patient can do physically. Go into a gym, using a treadmill, lifting weight, getting on elliptical or step machines. Swimming is the best overall exercise that beats everything we mentioned before. So swimming an hour a day, they can burn the most calorie, and that's anyone can do with regular exercise. I'm not talking about people who runs 10, 50 miles a day. Those are extreme cases, but no, compared to regular exercises, swimming is the best. Okay, now what about patient with some movement limitation, activity limitations, resistance bands, and dumbbells, sandbags? They can do it at home to build muscles, and putting a stationary bike in the house if they can get on it and stay on the stationary bike. If they cannot do any of those, aqua exercise, though they still have to get out of the house and to go to a pool for the aqua exercise. Let me think about other limitations. I think that's about it for today in terms of exercise prescription for people with some movement limitations. And what about comorbidities? Yeah, patients are extremely overweight, morbidly obese. As a matter of fact, then there's not really any good exercise regimen we can prescribe. They may have to consider ways for weight loss, surgical intervention, weight loss regimens, medications, etc., etc. Now, the next point on the list of today's podcast is discussing the strategies to help patients overcome common barrier to initiating and maintaining regular physical activity. Patient complain about time constraints, don't have time, busy, lack of motivation, and lack of access to facilities. Well, these are all fair consideration and complaints, but we do have to dig deeper with the patients if our complaints are reasonable or legit. So in terms of time constraints, as we mentioned before, and 1 hour walk, a brisk walk, and they can be done in 2 installments in a day, half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night, brisk walk for 3 days, minimum 3 times a week. They can do as much as they want. So what about for those with time constraints? That's the solution. And what about those who still go to work, they commute. So for those who drives and complain about no time to exercise, I think they should park their car farther to their destination. That would give them more steps a day to contribute to their general health. Then if those people who have to take a public transportation to work and come home, they should pick a destination, a station that's maybe 2-3 stations before their destination. So they have to walk farther to get to their destination, by which their exercise level increases just by doing that. What about lunchtime? Everybody can go out for a lunchtime stroll. And it's good just to give up. It's not good to give up lunch because other presentations in terms of diet, we really shouldn't skip lunch, but do a shorter lunch and take some time out just to do a brisk walk, 15 minutes to half an hour outside of the office. That's a great idea as well. In terms of motivation, I usually talk to them, find out more about their family. So the motivation should come from they want to live healthier and longer for their loved ones, for just the love of life, and just for more days to enjoy the beautiful world. Am I saying it right? The world is beautiful, right? Even though there are a lot of tragedies are happening every day, but all in all, I thank God every day I am here to enjoy this day on earth. And I think God has been nice to me. Okay, well, last point on today's podcast is beyond weight loss, what are the proposed direct mechanism through which exercise benefits liver health in MASH? Okay, so I did a little digging, and combined with our school, what we learned in school is that exercise actually benefits the liver by improving its ability to process fats and sugars. By reducing liver fat, it can improve insulin sensitivity and promoting overall liver health. And by burning more fat and glucose during exercise, they can help prevent excess nutrients from accumulating in the liver, which can lead to fatty liver disease. So that's today's podcast. And thank you. And I hope you have enjoyed today's podcast. And I would love to see you again and talk to you about what I've learned between now and the next time. Bye-bye.